I've got two areas of interest that I'm going to show you in this video. The second one is really the reason why I decided to make another video for this final jigsaw playlist. It's on a site in New York. They call it the Big Apple, don't they? Now, I've got an image here, a screenshot. Whether or not you believe their reasons here to why it's called the Big Apple in the first place. So they're trying to tell you that it had nothing to do with apple trees. They say that it was something to do with horse racing. Right? I don't know about any of that. I've not even bothered going to look into it. The reason why I made that video in the past, I just decided to go looking at the Central Park area, and sure enough I did find some interesting rocks. Now, the video that I put out there 2 years ago, I did call it the Big Apple, but I only showed a couple of examples and then just ran off on something else. Now, I'm going to show you a lot more from around New York. I also think the best way to start is by showing the oldest first. The arrow I've just pointed does seem to be this section here, but further over. And if you're from New York, I've never even been, but there are different districts, and a lot of these old images do have those at the bottom. It means nothing to me. I'm more interested in looking at rocks. But this part here, I'm going to show a short section from a video from Hangman1128 channel, which I directed you to in the last video I had on this playlist.
Are all these little pieces right here just laying around everywhere. They all got the little flat edges and the ledges, just like all these, just like all them. And we're going to be walking up top here.
So I showed that because at the time of making the Big Apple video there, about 2 years ago, when I saw this image, is the reason why I even produced it. And yes, it looks rounded on the edge, almost like it's a branch, but even this, I now suspect that it's just bits and pieces, and even this piece will break up into smaller pieces. Now, what he's showing there is pieces from a cedar tree. I do in fact believe that. That's why it all turns to sand. But the area I've just shown you is this here. So this is moving away from it, and this picture here is one of the better ones I showed from one of my other videos in this playlist, and because it's just blatantly obvious that it is indeed petrified wood, but it's a whole cliffside. This is further back from this site. In fact, it's confusing. I'm not even sure if they've moved that section there, because the lump that's sticking out is the exact same, but yet you can't see the rock behind it. And I don't think it's the angle. I do in fact think that they've moved it for whatever reason. This is the same area. It's just rock all around this part of Central Park. In the top left here, you see areas like this in Peru, don't you? But it looks like that there's lines of sap running through that section there. This is just further along, and there's areas like this. This image here, I did not place the yellow lines. I don't know who did that, but I took the image anyway. It's the same area as this, and this is again blatantly obvious. And I do know that a lot of information that I'm putting out in this playlist now, because we are up to 20 odd videos, I can't just keep laying out my theory in every single video that I put out on this playlist. It's just further information adding to what I've already said before. So most people that will come and see this won't appreciate that. I do, however, find it interesting how they decided to leave large areas of this rock just untouched. Now, I can imagine the explanation being that it was just too difficult to remove, but that's never stopped them doing it before. Now, is it because they knew what this thing was, and they just decided to keep parts of it for prosperity, for those in the know, say? I'm not saying that it was an apple tree at all, but just like any other piece of rock on Earth, it's come from wood, from petrified wood, these silica trees. In the end, I decided not to speak on the second section of this video. It was on a site in Russia called Lena Pillars. There's a couple of images here, mainly because if anybody was to believe this new narrative that's about to come out, I suppose they would just be stupid anyway. So I won't even bother just looking at this channel. It's not a channel that I've ever seen before, but I'll just leave it as it is. Anyway, thank you to everybody that ever helps, seeing as the YouTubers destroyed my channel.